I'm 23 years old, and sometimes I wonder if life was wasted on me.
Amigos del Late Night Blog, bienvenidos a una nueva entrevista en donde nos hablarán el día de hoy los hermanos Anthony y Joe Russo, directores de la película Cherry y además directores de las tan aclamadas películas Avengers Infinity War y Avengers Endgame, sobre este nuevo proyecto que sale completamente de la caja que normalmente estábamos acostumbrados a ver estos directores. Y además de eso tendremos a los protagonistas de esta película, Ciara Bravo y a Tom Holland, a quienes les preguntaremos acerca del proceso creativo para llegar, obviamente, a un personaje tan fuerte y tan complejo como lo son Emily y Cherry. Así que comencemos esta entrevista.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing... Hey, I'm really happy you're here.
Why is that?
Because I like you. But there never seems to be enough time to do. You're it for me.
I feel the same way.
I joined the army.
Why would you do that?
Sometimes I feel like I've already seen everything that's gonna happen.
Estoy muy feliz porque tengo el honor de estar aquí con los directores de Cherry, Anthony y Joe Russo. Hi guys, first of all, I hope you have a great digital junket day because I know I'm the first, so I'm really excited.
Thank you, Hector.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Again, congratulations on this movie. First of all, I think getting the message of this movie and getting the best of Ciara and Tom, and also the imagery of this movie, I was really impressed by the visual poetry of this film. After these past years of working on these ginormous movies, working on a film like Cherry gave you the opportunity of being more experimental?
I mean, it's the material certainly requires a different kind of execution, and this film in particular, we feel like Gen Z is a generation that's sort of most at risk with opioids, and they have a really profound way of consuming visual information, and we thought it would be compelling to use stylization to appeal to them and get them to sit through what would be otherwise a very difficult film for them to watch. Also, we wanted to use that visual style so that you had a subjective experience. You went through the experience of the movie with the character. He has this enormous life cycle that the movie covers, and very distinct experiences happen in that life cycle. And we wanted you to really feel what it felt like for him to go through these different experiences.
Tom, this movie it was hard to watch, and I cannot imagine being the protagonist of this movie and the action process throughout it. And congratulations! I think I hope this performance not only gets praise but also reflects on many people who struggle with trauma and addiction. I wanted to ask you first, how was this particular role different from anything you've done so far?
I mean, it was very different in the sheer workload, in the planning a character arc that spans over 15 years, losing the weight, maintaining this really vulnerable emotional state for the whole course of the film. It was different in every way, really. I'm the type of person that likes to look for a challenge. I'm always up for trying something I haven't done before. And this film kind of ticked all of those boxes. I was really lucky that I had the Russo brothers to do it with me. I think it would have been a very, very different experience had I done this without them. So I'm very grateful that I got to do this with my good mates, Joe and Anthony.
I think Joe and Anthony have a particular way to communicate, not only visually, but also in the way the script also develops. Even though this is a big drama, I think it has these dark bits of humor. Tom, does this kind of humor follows you? Because I think audiences can get enough of your particular comedic timing that I think works perfect for this movie.
Wow, that's really nice to hear. Thank you. I mean, my dad's a comedian, so we've always grown up around comedy, and people often say that, we have his timing. I remember when I used to do Billy Elliot when I was a kid, one of the actors said to me that I had good comedic timing. It's not something I try to do. I don't know. I just know the type of comedy that I like, and I try to copy it. I think a lot of the humor in this film is necessary because it kind of softens some of the really intense blows that you experience as an audience member. But I'm really glad that you found it funny. That's not many people have said that, so that's really nice to hear.
It is a dark story. It deals with some extremely heavy topics, but I've also never laughed so hard when reading a script. And I think that's what makes it so special, is this ability to balance all of these different tones. It's a dream role for an actor, getting to play so many different versions of the same character. It was really exciting and also quite intimidating.
I don't want to like say any spoiler about the movie, but I can recall the name of the banks. Was that something that was in the book originally, or was added as a visual thing that you wanted? I think it was something also that was written added to the script, right?
It was added.
That was added. Yeah. It was. There was a number of things that we wanted. The book can rely upon this inner monologue that the character has throughout the entire novel, but when we're translating the film, like Joe was talking about, we had to figure out different ways of expressing Cherry's interior emotional state, his psychological state, and some of those had to do with the visual texture of the image, and some of those would have to do with more sort of tangible things, like, for instance, the names of the bank. There's sort of, Cherry ends up having a difficult experience with the bank early on as a young person, like many of us do, where the bank has sort of made an error and they won't fix it. And he starts to feel very alienated by this institution that doesn't have a sort of a human face. In the movie, we even play with how the bank teller looks. She's completely in shadow to him. He can't make out any of her features. And it's because of this anxiety over not being able to connect to this institution that probably doesn't care very much about him. So, the bank names, as the movie rolls on, as he becomes a bank robber and gets confrontational with the banks, tend to take on his feelings about the bank.
How would Ciara, you would justify Emily's actions throughout this movie, or you wouldn't justify them?
I mean, I think it's hard asking the actor that
of course,
this person to answer this question, because she is so close to my heart, and I do empathize with her experience, and of course I want to justify every action that she made, no matter how wrong it is. It's so hard to look back from a third party perspective and then not cringe, but I think that's what's so important about this movie is the youth aspect. They are kids, and they're two kids who have sort of backed themselves into a corner where they're being forced to make these adult decisions before being given a chance to really learn about the world. And that's what I always remember when I watch Emily move through this world. She's a character who was so afraid of love, finally allowed herself to feel it. And even though it was so wonderful at first, she gets sort of slapped in the face. And it pains you. It definitely pains you to see, but that's what I always try to keep in mind when I watch her exist.
For you, what does being safe really means? Because I think this movie has really different interpretations of being safe by someone, of being safe by a situation.
I'd say being safe to me means being around friends and family, being around people that care about you, being around people that are willing to help you in a tricky situation, someone that's not afraid to tell you if you're being a dick when you need to be told you're being a dick. For me, being safe feels, being on a film set, I feel safe because it's where I've grown up. I've lived the majority of my life on film sets. So I'd say at work really is where I feel safest.
I know that this movie was a really personal journey for you, but after finishing this movie, like in this exact moment, what you got from this movie in a personal way?
I mean, certainly there's catharsis for us because people that we love, who are very close to us, have died because of the opioid crisis. Others are struggling with their sobriety, and that, it has a profound effect on you. You feel helpless. You're trying to do everything you can to help someone struggle against a drug that's been scientifically engineered to make them addicted to it. And so I think that we put a lot of our own emotions and our own experience into this film, as a way to let others relate, hopefully to educate, and hopefully to provide catharsis for people who are going through the same thing that we were going through.
Hello?
Yeah, baby, I'm here.
You're gonna make it through this, okay? I know that you're gonna make it through this.
That's what was so great about working with the Russo brothers, is they allowed so much space for us to come in with our thoughts and ideas. They're collaborators through and through. And I think that's what makes their projects feel so special, is they listen to the people around them.
Great. I think they work really well as a team. And I know that you had also
100%.
another teammate, because I think Cherry's and Emily's relationship is quite a particular one, right? How do you manage to
Right.
evolve your performances together in the screen?
You know, Tom and I were really partners in this through and through. We leaned on each other in bringing these scenes to life and bringing these characters into existence. And I think that partnership, that reliance on each other, you know, that knowledge that, you know, the other would catch us if we stumbled or fell, allowed us to sort of intertwine and interweave these people in a really special, beautiful way.
I mean, that just took bonding. We built up a really strong friendship while filming and leading up to filming, which was really instrumental in sort of convincing the audience of this relationship that we tried to create. And, you know, just preparation, just planning and figuring out where we were going to push ourselves and where we were going to hold back, and all that sort of stuff. So it was just it was quite a simple process, really. But I'm just very lucky that Ciara was so brave and open to going to these really dark places. And it was nice that I didn't have to go there by myself. She would come with me.
You were both amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Last question. Why people need to watch Cherry? What they will find in Cherry?
I think people should watch Cherry because, you know, I think sometimes in Hollywood films can be made about war and about drug abuse, and it can be romanticized. I think this film is very truthful and authentic to the horrors and the destruction that both of those things can cause to people's daily lives. I hope that this film raises awareness for a problem that is right on our doorstep, but it is invisible. You know, most people fight these battles in the shadows. And alone. So I hope that this film will encourage people to be more open about their addiction and PTSD, and that people will be more willing to help and listen.
I think, you know, what's really important to remember about this story is it's not American specific. Of course, you know, it does take place in Cleveland. Cleveland's a huge part of the story, but the situations that we're dealing with are human experiences. They're universal. It's something that anyone can be subject to, whether it be falling in love, getting hurt, battling addiction, battling PTSD. That's not specific to any region, unfortunately.
I have this noise in my head.
It'll stop. One day it'll go quiet.
I don't imagine that anyone goes in for a robbery if they're not in some kind of desperation.
I've been at this a while now, and it's no secret what my face looks like.
Get on the ground! One thing about robbing banks is you're mostly robbing women, so the last thing you want to be is rude. Ma'am, it's nothing personal.
You're gonna make it through this. I love you.
Can you look back to when you met the one you loved the most? And remember exactly how it was? What you saw in her that made you say, yes, this is what I came here for. Sometimes I feel like I've already seen everything that's gonna happen.
For me, it was a catharsis, and I think, and I hope that people that watch this movie get that message. And congratulations again. You really formed a really amazing team, and it shows on the movie.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Hector.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys. Have a great day
Thank you.
and stay safe.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And it's a nightmare.